Have you ever trusted someone so deeply, so completely, that you'd stake your own peace of mind on their word, only to wake up one day realizing that very person is quietly, methodically tearing your world apart? I never thought I'd be that guy, you know? The guy pacing the halls at 3 a.m., clutching his screaming baby, feeling like a ghost in his own home. But here I am, Alexander Bennett, and my son Thomas's cries have become the soundtrack of my life. Nights blur into days, and sleep? That's just a rumor. Let me back up a sec, because if you'd told me months ago that my greatest enemy would be standing in my kitchen, humming a lullaby, I'd have laughed you right out of Dallas. But that's exactly what happened. My girlfriend Lauren, soft-spoken, gentle, her touch like a magic spell, was the only one who could calm Thomas. Every time she took him in her arms, the wailing stopped, like flipping a switch. Relief, sure, but also something off. I pushed that feeling aside, told myself I was being paranoid. New dad nerves, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Rose, our housekeeper, Thomas's guardian angel since my wife passed, she wasn't so sure. One night, as Lauren rocked Thomas to sleep, Rose pulled me aside. "Do you ever wonder why he only calms down for her?" she asked, her voice low, wary. I brushed her off, told her Lauren was a blessing, exactly what we needed. But Rose's eyes, they stayed sharp, never leaving Lauren's hands as she mixed Thomas's bottles or sang those lullabies. Looking back, maybe I should have listened sooner. Here's where it gets weird, fast. Rose's daughter Camille, just 8 years old, the quiet kind of smart, caught Lauren in the act one evening. Camille saw her slip a little vial out of her purse and drop something clear into Thomas's bottle. When Lauren realized she'd been seen, her whole vibe changed, cold, threatening, like someone flipped a switch inside her. Camille ran straight to Rose, shaking, begging her to believe what she saw. Now, if you're a parent, you know that bone-deep panic when your gut tells you something's wrong. Rose didn't waste a second. She waited until Lauren was distracted, dug through her purse, and found the vial, marked with a skull and the word poison. No joke. The realization hit her hard. Thomas wasn't just colicky. He was being drugged, made sick, kept dependent on Lauren's care. Before Rose could even process, Lauren confronted her. For the first time, the mask dropped. "If you say a word, you'll regret it," Lauren hissed, inches from Rose's face. But then, just like that, I walked in, completely clueless, just wondering how Thomas was doing. Rose showed me the vial, her hands shaking. Lauren started crying, accused Rose of trying to frame her, said Camille was making up stories. I stood there, torn in two. Do I believe the woman who saved my sanity or the woman I thought I loved? That moment changed everything. You know what I mean? The trust in the house shattered. Rose called the cops, and Detective Garcia came by. Turns out, there was an ongoing investigation into a ring of women targeting single fathers. Women who poisoned kids to gain control, inherit fortunes, leave a trail of heartbreak behind them. Lauren? Her real name was Claudia Sales, and she wasn't the first, or the last. The house turned into a fortress, cops watching every move, Lauren under constant surveillance. I couldn't sleep, haunted by the possibility that my son might never recover. But Rose and Camille, they were the glue holding us together. Rose's strength, Camille's bravery. Sometimes it's the quietest voices that scream the loudest truth. Eventually, Lauren, Claudia, was arrested. She sat across from me in the interrogation room, cold, unapologetic. "You were perfect," she said, smirking. "Vulnerable. Exactly the kind of mark we needed." I wanted to yell, to demand why, but all I could do was stare. My son's life, my own sanity, had been nothing but a business transaction to her. Court was brutal. Evidence came out, photos, wiretaps, testimonies from other victims. 3 children gone before anyone figured it out. 2 fathers dead. Camille took the stand, voice steady, recounting what she saw. "I've never been prouder, never felt so gutted." The judge sentenced Claudia to 15 years. And as she was led away, I wondered, how many others are out there, hiding behind smiles, waiting for someone desperate enough to let them in? But here's the thing about pain, about betrayal. It doesn't have to break you. After the trial, I gathered Rose and Camille in my arms and promised we'd build something stronger. Family isn't just blood. It's the people who fight for you, who see you at your lowest and still choose to stay. Days turned into weeks. I cut back on work, focused on healing. Installed cameras, hired real help, opened my heart. One night, as Thomas slept peacefully, no more poison, just sweet baby dreams, I asked Rose and Camille to stay, not as staff, but as family. When I asked if I could adopt Camille, the look on her face, pure joy, hope, trust, nearly undid me. We're not perfect. We have scars, ones you can't see, ones that ache in the quiet moments. But we're here, together, laughing again, building new memories in the sunlight. Sometimes I watch Thomas and Camille play, their laughter chasing shadows from the corners of the house, and I realize, this is what matters. Not money, not appearances, just love. Messy, unbreakable, real. Now I gotta ask, if you were in my shoes, would you have seen through Lawrence sooner? Could you forgive yourself for letting danger get so close, for doubting the ones who love you most? What would you do to rebuild trust, to protect your family when the enemy sleeps just down the hall? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, is blood really thicker than water? Or is it courage, loyalty, and the will to fight that make a family worth saving? If this story hit home, comment 100 below. Tell me where you're watching from. And don't forget to like and share, because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear that survival is possible, that hope doesn't die, and that love, real love, is stronger than poison any day. They say time heals all wounds, but whoever came up with that never had to rebuild a family from ashes, never sat in the dark at 3 a.m. listening for a baby's breath, half waiting for some old ghost to creep in through the back door. For months after the trial, life in our house felt fragile, like a vase glued together. Beautiful, but always on the verge of shattering. Some nights, I'd wake to Thomas whimpering, my heart pounding out of my chest, ready to sprint down the hallway. Half expecting Claudia, Lauren, would be standing over his crib again, a phantom with a poison vial. Yeah, that kind of fear, it sticks with you. But slowly, real laughter returned. Camille settled into her new room, the walls alive with drawings and sunlight and dreams that finally felt safe. Rose, bless her, took on the role of second mother, protector, best friend. Me? I started to believe in mornings again. Thomas toddled everywhere, stronger each day, stubborn as ever, living proof that kids are tougher than we think. For a while, it was almost too good. You know what I mean? Like that calm before a Texas storm, where the air's just a little too still. Then one afternoon, out of nowhere, a letter arrived. No stamp, no return address. Just my name, scrawled in that old, familiar handwriting. Inside, nothing but a photo. At first glance, it looked like any other, Thomas and Camille playing in the front yard, Rose laughing behind them. But in the background, barely visible, was a dark figure, half hidden by our big oak tree. My blood ran cold. I turned the photo over. 3 words, inked in block letters. You're still mine. That was the moment I realized what happened with Claudia was just the tip of the iceberg. I took the photo to Detective Garcia. He didn't sugarcoat it. Sebastian Vega, he muttered, tapping the tree line in the image. We've been tracking him for years. Claudia was never working alone. This goes deeper, organized, calculated, global. I'll be honest. Part of me wanted to grab my kid and disappear, move somewhere so far off the grid, even the mail couldn't find us. But fear's a poison of its own. I'd already let it control me once. And look where that got us. No, I wasn't running anymore. I hired private security, guys you'd never notice, parked in plain cars up and down our street. I had cameras installed, inside and out. Rose took self-defense classes. Camille started sleeping with her favorite stuffed bear again. The weight of not knowing who was watching crept into every moment, like a second shadow. And yet, life demanded to keep moving forward. School pickups, pancake breakfasts, late-night cartoons. All the little things that make a family, even in the face of fear. One rainy Sunday, Camille asked the question we'd all been avoiding. Is it really over, Daddy? Is Lauren, Claudia, gone for good? I looked at her, this child who'd seen too much already, and I told her the truth. Bad people don't always go away forever. But together, we're stronger. We know what to look for now. No one's ever going to hurt you or Thomas again. That's my promise. But you know how promises work. That night, as Rose cleaned up the kitchen, she found a small envelope taped beneath the sink. Inside, another photo, this time of Rose and me talking in the backyard. On the back, we're closer than you think. That was when the twist hit. Camille, always watching, always listening, remembered something. The mailman, Daddy, he's new, right? He never looks at me. And his shoes are always muddy, even when it hasn't rained. For a second, I brushed it off as kid logic, but after what we'd been through, I couldn't ignore it. I called Garcia, who put a tail on the mailman. Turns out, the guy wasn't with the Postal Service. Not even close. Long story short, he was a runner for Vega's crew, scoping out our routines, snapping those photos, leaving them just close enough to keep us scared, but not enough for the cops to make an easy arrest. Suddenly, it all made sense. Claudia was just the front. Vega was still pulling strings, testing us, waiting for a crack. You ever feel like your life's become a chessboard, and you're just scrambling to protect your king? That's where we were. Except this time, we weren't waiting to be picked off. We decided to fight back. Rose started documenting everything. Cameras logged every move, and Camille, bless her, became our secret weapon, her sharp eyes spotting details adults would miss. Together, we became a fortress, not just a family. Then, just when I thought we'd gotten the upper hand, another curveball. The phone rang, no caller ID, just static. Then a voice, deep and smooth. You're brave, Alexander. But everyone has a breaking point. Let's see how far you'll go to protect them. Click. The next morning, Thomas's favorite toy, a blue stuffed bear, was missing from his crib. In its place was a burner phone. One text flashed on the screen. Let's play a game. I could feel the ground shifting under my feet. Was this a bluff, or was Vega finally making his move? Did we call the cops again, keep playing defense, or take the fight to them? Right then, standing in that nursery, I realized sometimes family isn't about blood or who lives under your roof. It's about who you trust when the whole world goes dark. Rose, Camille, Thomas, they weren't just my responsibility anymore. They were my reason to push back, to refuse to let fear win. So, that's where I'll leave it for now. Our family, stronger, battered, but standing together, preparing for whatever comes next. Because evil doesn't quit, but neither do we. Now, tell me, what would you do if someone threatened your family, even after justice was served? Would you fight back or run? How far would you go to protect what matters most? Drop your thoughts below. And if this story kept you on the edge of your seat, hit 100 in the comments. Share your own experiences, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because our story isn't over yet. Sometimes, the real battle starts after the storm.